Krishnan Rai's, Yash Chopra's, the big guys saw the film and said, well done, but nobody bought it for 1 year. And finally, I released that film. I went to Regal Cinema. The owner was very nice. So for 2 weeks, he gave me his cinema hall, and Khamosh released one print in one cinema in India. And I was the official distributor. You know, some of the faces I could have done better. But my second impression was, which I'd like to share with hopefully budding filmmakers, critics, whoever is here, is this film was shot with black and white footage of only 4,000 feet. That's what I got. So most of these interviews you see, today they'll run a digital camera and keep running. I actually had a camera and I had the switch in my hand, literally. And only when I thought that I'm going to get some footage which is worthwhile, I used to switch on the camera and switch it off. Because there was no footage. And most of the kids who are talking, I took my track out because, for instance, there's a kid who says, I'm Gareeb hai. I really liked him saying that. So I used to scream from far away to telephoto lens, कि तू बोल, I'm Gareeb hai. And then he nods. I was prompting him. So documentary or movie making is all about believability. You believe it is real. But part of this is actually manipulated by me because I'm telling that kid to say what he's saying. So these are the two things that struck me, that some of the faces, particularly the older kids, I could have done better, which is a good feeling. And secondly, when I recall how this film was done, I being the arrogant, brash, etc., all bad words you can use, I still remember the guy who won the Oscar. He walked up to me, this is the most amazing. And I was 19, 20, I don't know how, I was very young. And I thought I'll win the Oscar for this great film. So I had my speech prepared. So, my knowledge of world cinema was almost zero, in a way, strange way, because I come from a small village in Kashmir. And one funny story is that we were sitting in those rows and we were told not to move too much because the cameras were on us. So we were there for the Oscars and there was this lady next to me. She kept moving up and down. And then I told her after a while, you see, they told us. फिर वो बैठ गई, उसने कहा thank you, sorry. And then the Oscar they said goes to Jane Fonda and the lady got up. So then I had to say, I'm sorry, I'm from a village. So it was fun. And Oscars that time was not like now. I mean, everybody, if I was to get nominated today, everybody would be on Twitter. Everybody say, oh, he's nominated. I mean, आजकल तो कोई picture Oscar के लिए जाती है तो front page नहीं हो जाती है. So this was, I was called by somebody. He said, you're nominated. I said, बेवकूफ, nomination is a big thing. 5 फिल्म होता है world में. बोला यार तू nominated है. मैंने कहा हो ही नहीं सकता. बोला छपा है Indian Express में. Some 5th or some page, little news. Film is nominated. I thought misprint hai. How can it be nominated? So I called Indian Express. I said, this is news, but it's wrong news because it is nominated. It must be official Indian entry. So bola, hold on, karo. Who is speaking? Vinod Chopra. From Pali Naka I had called. I didn't have phone that time, so it was a doctor's phone. Doctor की दुकान में phone करने लगे. तो मैंने बोला हाँ nominated है. बोला किधर से पता नहीं. कोई Reuters, PTI. That's how I came to know. The crazy world has really changed. I have to say this, I'm sorry, I have to tell this. I had no clothes to wear for the Oscars. See, you have to wear a formal dress, your national dress, or you have to wear a tux. Now tux you can rent. So I had no money to rent a tux. So I told them I'll wear jeans and shirt. They said, no, you can't. Either tux or national dress. You know what I wore for Oscars? Kurta pajama, night suit. I'm trying to get those pictures, Anuja. You should try. I am sitting in my fucking night suit next to Jane Fonda, which is my national. Oh, photo लंबो किधरों यार? That's a great photo. You can find. तुम लोग ढूंढो यार, midday कहीं से निकालो photograph 79 Sorry, I got carried away.
Good afternoon, Honorable Sir. This is Asif Jafri, an aspiring actor. I want to ask one question. Ki nowadays, mockumentary genre is taking over the documentary genre. So, आप कितना agree करते हैं इससे?
देखिए ऐसा है कि मैं बाहर की दुनिया बहुत कम देखता हूँ, तो बाहर क्या हो रहा है इनको ज़्यादा पता है. आई एम मोर कंसर्न विद माई वर्क. आई मेक वन फिल्म इन 5 years. आई डोंट लुक आउट क्या हो रहा है. तो इस सवाल का जवाब जो है वो maybe these people can give, because I really don't know what is going. See, the moment you start looking what's going outside your world, then I think sooner or later mediocrity grabs you. Because some shit film does 100 crores and you see it and you say यार मेरी तो चलती नहीं सर. फिर कोई और बकवास फिल्म 200 करोड़, फिर आप कहते यार मुझे तो ऐसे ही करना चाहिए. तो बाहर की दुनिया ना मैं देखता हूँ, बहुत कम देखता हूँ, और उस दुनिया से मेरा बहुत कम ताल्लुक है. तो आपका ये जो जनरल सा सवाल है इसका मेरे पास एक्चुअली कोई जवाब ही नहीं है.
Thank you.
It was really honest. Another one. थोड़ा माइक जरा जल्दी जल्दी दे देंगे because Vidhu has to leave around 3:30. कोई बात नहीं, ऐसे ही पूछ लीजिए. Did somebody raise a hand? Okay. Yeah.
Hello.
So, of course, we've seen lots of good work, and when we see this film as your first attempt of making a movie. So, sir, as if you said you're from the village and it was a very new encounter from this world. So, how did this thing came in your mind, or who were the inspiration behind this film?
The inspiration was hunger. I had no money. So I had to live in the city, so I went to films division. I said, I need money. So they said, we'll give you 5,000 rupees to make a documentary. I said, okay. I had won the national award before that. So I had lived on my national award for a while. I had won 5,000 bucks as for Murder at Monkey Hill, my diploma film, and won the national award. So that money ran out. Then I had no money. So how to make money? So I went to films division because as a national film, I had won the national award, they couldn't say no to me. So they gave me a list of documents. So I picked this one. It said rehabilitation program, etc., etc. बहुत लंबा सा था. तो 5,000 रुपए का मसला था, तो I picked it up. मैंने कहा मैं ये बनाता हूँ. तो मैंने ये फिल्म बनाई. जब मैंने फिल्म बनाई, there was a gentleman called Mushir Ahmed, I think is head of films division. ऐसे ही हुई फर्स्ट स्क्रीनिंग. तो मैं बड़ा खुश यंग फिल्म मेकर के यार मेरी फिल्म देख के कुछ बोलेगा. मुझे देख के बोलता है ये आपने क्या बकवास बनाया. मैं बोला क्या? कहता है इसमें बैकग्राउंड म्यूजिक नहीं है, कमेंट्री नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है, इसमें कमेंट्री डालो. ही टोल्ड. मैंने कहा नो, माय कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सेड. तो there was a big fight. Anyway, I won't go into that publicly, but I abused. So I was thrown out. So that is the only documentary I made. They never gave me another one to make. But the inspiration was 5,000 bucks. See what I'm trying to tell you guys, and in this area I'm told by sort of there are a lot of budding filmmakers, budding people, So I have to tell you this, that even if my inspiration was 5,000 bucks, I killed myself for this. I spent 6 months on this film. So there was no compromise on the film. Though the inspiration was just, I had to survive in the city. The trouble now I feel in present day is that people to make money, they do shit work. And they say, oh, we have to run our kitchen, so we are doing shit. You don't have to actually. You can do great work and still make enough money. I made so much money in awards for this film. I got many awards. This one won actually hell of a lot of awards. And a lot of that was cash. Yeah, so inspiration was money, sorry.
Another question. Sir, yeah. Sir, is that आपने बहुत अच्छा काम किया है अब तक और आप कर भी रहे हैं. And sir, as a filmmaker, आप आगे क्या करना चाहते हैं? मतलब after doing such good films, मतलब
देखिए कंफ्यूज्ड ही चलता हूँ. कुछ ऐसा प्लान नहीं होता 5 year प्लान के. इस प्लान में मैं स्टूडियो खरीद लूँगा, अगले प्लान में मैं ये कर लूँगा. I just get carried away with what I'm doing. If I like doing it, I do it. I'm very, very, very blessed and fortunate now. As I was telling Anuja, we were coming from Bandra, we had lunch in our car and all. I said, I'm so blessed. So there are no plans. If I get inspired here by somebody saying something and I feel yes I want to make a film on that, I will work on it. I have no plans. वो एक फैज का शेर है, उर्दू है, आप शायद समझेंगे तो मैं इंग्लिश में बता दूं. इसे इसके फैज की राह सर बसर मंजिल, हम जहां पहुंचे कामयाब है. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि अभी कामयाब है, जब ये बना रहे थे तब भी कामयाब ही थे, शेर 5. So if that's the attitude, then that's it.
When you made Parinda, were you somewhere in the back of your mind, was this film in your head?
No, Parinda was actually made with anger, because I just made a film called Khamosh before that, which was a wonderful film,
Yes.
which Saurabh is now trying to make for television, and nobody bought that film for 1 year. Everybody saw that film and said, "Acha, bahut acha." And huge guys, all the big guys, Gulshan Roy's, Yash Chopra's, the big guys saw the film and said, "Well done," but nobody bought it for 1 year. And finally, I released that film. I went to Regal Cinema. The owner was very nice. So for 2 weeks, he gave me his cinema hall, and Khamosh released one print in one cinema in India. And I was the official distributor. And then, of course, it ran for 6 weeks. It became a big hit. It sold everywhere. But in that anger, I told somebody came to my house. मैंने कहा यार ये नहीं चलता. 2 भाइयों की स्टोरी लिखो. इंडिया में वही चलता है. एक भूखा है और दूसरा वो रो रहा है. The first line I wrote of Parinda was कि वो भाई, छोटा भाई बोलता है, तो वो कहता है तू रो रहा है, कहता है मेरे को भूख लगी, मैं रो रहा हूँ. कहता है मैं, तू रो मत, मैं तेरे लिए खाना लाता हूँ. That was the first line of Parinda I wrote, and it was only written finally to say, if I want to live in India, I don't want to be a beggar all my life. I want to succeed. So I'm using the weapons of commercial cinema to, in my own head, attack the cinema, but use their own weapons to destroy them rather than create new ones. So inspiration for Parinda had nothing to do with it.
I just thought the children in Parinda were similar.
I mean, listen, that is who I am. That is who I was then.
Sure.
Even now, if you see what I try to do, take anything, take Parinita, take 3 Idiots, take anything, even I'm doing contemporary work. I am trying to stay close to what I believe is real, or at least. So perhaps I was involved at that time with these kids, and I'm sure. See, when you're creating anything,
Something in your subconscious.
it remains with you. You can't help. I mean, I've come here in a big car eating my food. I mean, how can I get rid of that? If I've come in an auto rickshaw from somewhere else, and so that would be part of my personality, right? So it's really you can't fight it. That's who you are. And then at that given moment when you're creating that cinema, the person that you are will finally reflect in it, whether you like it or not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go on. Mike, पीछे जरा भिजवा दीजिए. आप लोग you can ask a question.
Pause आदमी है तो my voice will carry.
Thank you.
I am Major Mohammed Ali Shah. I did final.
You have a great name, Major Mohammed Ali. If you ever see it in any film I have made, it's your name. Huh? But the name is very good. Yeah.
What do you keep in mind? The actor can, the look of the character, or an actor can also be a civilian. He can get any actor. I can get a different get-up, a different body language, different behavior, different voice and accent. Would you take that into consideration, or would you go by the look of the character per se?
No, I completely would keep that in mind. See, there are 2 things that you keep in mind when you make a film. First of all, what is the budget of your film? If the budget is high, then you need these 2.5 stars that are around, 3.5. Then you have to try and get one of those in order to recover the budget. That's the bottom line. You cannot say, I'll make a 100 crore film and I will take Major Saab. Nobody will give you money. If you want 100 crore film, then who do you want? Well, you want some Khan, whether he fits in the role or not, whether he's right or not, but well, he's Amir Khan or Salman Khan or whatever. And then you say, okay, but you fool yourself. Then there is second kind of filmmaking, where your budgets are low and you can take your chances with casting. And for instance, I did a film called Ferrari Ki Savari. I put Sharman there instead of one of the Khans that I could have got after 3 weeks, because I felt Sharman was the right cast for the role. So in that case, you take actors that you feel can transform. So, but I'll tell you one thing, that if you are a good performer and if you can transform yourself, I mean, Nawazuddin started in Munna Bhai MBBS in a small role. So finally people get to know you, people get to know that you can transform, and then you get cast. So it's really a process of how committed you are to your own profession and how and when people come to know of them.
Hello. Yes, sir.
All right. Let her ask now, please.
Yeah, I can ask. Good evening, sir. First of all, my name is Rindy Dayani. I'm not very much into like kind of media things, and I'm just back up this official job for media works. But after watching this movie, I really realized that this is really so touchy. You know, on my daily basis of the lives, I interact with so many people and children and elder people. That really keeps me thinking about them. You know. So after watching this movie, definitely that inspires me to go more into deep and imparting hope to all these children and whosoever old age people and everyone. So my question is that this movie has really inspired you as a person to do something like that again, or how it really changed your life or not?
See, it's the other way around. It's because I come from a small village where my father helped the poor kids. So that is really part of my personality. It's not that doing this film has changed me, but this film is who I was at that given moment.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
No,
You cannot be. See, it's like, the biological truth is that the cells of our body get destroyed and new cells are formed. So I am physically, emotionally and mentally not the guy I was 40 years back. Neither are you. None of us are. You know, I've suddenly started realizing that some little extra hair comes here when I shave. So I was wondering what, and then I said, that's how it is. So, but who, I'll tell you, but there is something that's consistent, which is our soul, which is our spirit, which we cannot really define. I believe that my spirit and my soul is exactly who it was when I made this film.
Can you define it in one line or something like
Spirit,
that?
I would still now, even today, I feel the way I felt then about underprivileged kids and underprivileged people in my own way. I try and help them as much as I can. So I think I am still the same, but frankly there are no guarantees. Because who is judging me? I am judging myself. Am I a good judge of myself? Maybe not. It's very, very complex. Human nature, human mind. We are not simple human beings. We are not simple creatures. So I believe that I'm the same, but I really don't know.
But thank you for such a wonderful movie.
Thank you so much.
All right, next one. Yeah, go on, sir. Don't worry about the mic.
Okay. So, my name is Abhay, and I've seen all your films. There is something I've found very common, like there is honesty, authenticity, and idealism in a lot of films, like even in Ferrari Ki Savari and your Hollywood films. Every place I could relate to that. And also I want to know, like when Rajesh Mahapuskar was decided for Ferrari Ki Savari, like he was your associate for other films as well. So how did you trust him for making this film in a low budget?
See, I go a lot by my gut feeling. He had never made a film. Let me tell you a joke on Rajesh, which actually is for Saurav and Anuja should hear, that when shooting was only 1 week away, I asked Rajesh one day, I said, यार तूने पहले कोई शूट किया है? कहता सर कुछ नहीं किया. मैं बोला तू continuity तो कर लेगा ना? मतलब किधर से कहता पता नहीं सर ट्राई करूँगा. मैं बोला पागल continuity कर. तो मेरे घर की जो लिफ्ट है ना, उसमें उसने एक सीक्वेंस शूट की थी 1 week before. कि शर्मन एंटर करता है, फिर वो कुछ बोलता है, वो continuity के लिए. See, I am not really into, you may be the best, the greatest director, greatest cameraman, greatest whoever, but if emotionally I don't relate to you, I won't work with you. There are some really great mean assholes out there, They're great. But they're assholes. I don't want to do anything with them. I really don't want to do anything. But Mapuskar was a good guy.
Yeah.
Sir, this is Reshma here. I'd like to ask you, Three Idiots was a wonderful subject and you treated it in such a beautiful way, not making it very in the face, very lightly communicating such a strong subject. How did you manage to do that?
See, it's a collaboration. Raju Hirani directed that film. I was writing with him and see, I think the basic thing between Abhijat, Raju and me over in the actual Three Idiots behind the real Three Idiots, I think it's primarily honesty. It's the sincerity. I mean, even today they can look at my script that I've been writing a script for 5 years now that I might actually direct. But the fact is that anybody can tell me, well, this doesn't work or that works. And I am the same. If I read a script which is written by anybody, I can say, oh, this is a shit scene. And I'm not very good with my language, so I use very abusive language to say this is absolutely third-rate scene. I think that kind of honesty when you have towards your own work, then you can create films like Three Idiots. Because you need to be very, very honest. You need to not fool yourself into believing that you're some whatever. You know, everybody starts believing in the... See what happens now, and since this is press, I'll tell you, everybody can buy anything they want in the press and print it. So tomorrow, I can print, wow, Vidhu Vinod Chopra talks to thousands of people and, you know, people go crazy and I can put my picture, yeah, you know, and all I have to do is pay for it. And then I will believe that. When I'll open my paper, I'll say, whoa, man, Vidhu Vinod Chopra. So then what happens is, you know, that's why there are no real people out there. They are those papers. And that's why cinema that you see is also rubbish, because they can make rubbish and say, brilliant film by asshole.
Thank you, sir.
कुछ भी छाप दो, फिर brilliant ही हो जाती है. सब बोलते हैं, अरे brilliant है यार picture. पैसा दे के छपाया हो कौन पूछता है?
Sir.
Anyway, I hope the press doesn't print this because it's not a good thing to say in front of press, but that's the bottom line.
सर फिल्म जहाँ से स्टार्ट हुई थी सर लास्ट रो में
जी
तो वहीं पे आपने ख़त्म किया, तो एक टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन ये है कि उसका क्या लॉजिक था. सेकंड क्वेश्चन इज़ कि सर मैंने आपकी पहले की जो फिल्म्स देखी है मर्डर एट मांके हिल, तो उसमें मुझे ऐसा लगता था, अगर मैं अपने आप को उस जेनरे पे ट्रांसपोर्ट करूँ, मुझे लगता था ही इज़ गोइंग टू बी द ग्रेटेस्ट फिल्म मेकर इंडिया कैन एवर प्रोड्यूस. मैं एग्जैगरेट नहीं कर रहा हूँ, मैं ऑनेस्टली फील करता था कि कभी मैं फेस टू फेस मिलूंगा तो ये बात बोलूँगा. लेकिन बाद में जो लेट 90s, अब पता नहीं, जैसे अभी आपने बोल रहा था कि देयर इज अ जेकल टू द हाइट, यू नो, पर्सन चेंजेस आफ्टर 30-40 इयर्स. तो मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि अभी के जो आप हैं वो यू कैन हैव बीन मच बेटर. और हमारे पास जो ऑस्कर्स के लिए जो बेस्ट बेट होते हैं वो विधु विनोद चोपड़ा जैसे ही लोग हैं. तो अगर आप 100 आउट ऑफ 100 नहीं सिक्योर करेंगे तो हमारे इंडस्ट्री में और कोई नहीं है जो 90 के बियॉन्ड जा पाए. और यहाँ पे सिटीजन केन, साइको, यू नो, टैक्सी ड्राइवर, बाइसाइकिल, यहाँ आप ही बना सकते हैं. तो मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आने वाली फिल्म में प्लीज कुछ भी कीजिए. आई वांट टू सी द ओल्ड विधु विनोद चोपड़ा जो आपकी पहले की फिल्म में था. यू आर एक्चुअली द बेस्ट पेट इंडिया हैज. सॉरी सर, वो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन मुझे जानना है कि जो उसका आपका थॉट प्रोसेस क्या.
थैंक यू सो मच. मैं दोनों का जवाब देता हूँ. पहले फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, वो द आइडिया वाज टू एक्चुअली टेक द फिल्म बैक टू द सेम किड. See, the idea was that वो बच्चे को पूछता है कि तूने लिया है, वो बोलता मैंने नहीं लिया. So I leave it there कि ये क्या करेगा, but I go back to the same face and he slaps that face. So the idea really was that we try to be understanding कि तूने लिया है कि नहीं लिया है, but finally we slap him. That was my idea, primarily to go around. To answer your next thing, what happened that after Parinda 42, Eklavya, if you've seen it, I also got slightly disillusioned with India as such, with the audience in India. I made Broken Horses, which I'm very proud of. Unfortunately, not many people saw it. But there is a film that I will direct next year. I did direct less films because I got involved with Raju and other people, and I helped making other movies that I'm very, very proud of. But I think the answer to your question is also because I'm a lazy guy. And I'm not a very ambitious guy. I make cinema, whether it is Murder at Monkey Hill, or it is Encounters, or it's Parinda, or it's 1942, or whatever I've done. Cinema that moves me, that I'd love to make. And I have no ambitions to become the Vidhu Vinod Chopra that you'd like me to be. And because I have no ambitions to be like really the best and the greatest in India, I am a little lazy. I take a nap in the afternoon. Actually, it was Anuja who said, don't take a nap today, go there. So otherwise I'd be napping. I think my laziness has come in my way. But I will try and undo that in the next years. Thank you for inspiring me, and hopefully I'll give you some movies that you'll be proud of. Thank you.
So you're the fittest guy around in Bollywood.
Thank you. That's simple. You exercise 1 hour a day. देखिए, फिल्म फेस्टिवल हमारी माय वाइफ अनुपमा चोपड़ा इस वक्त मामी चला रही हैं, तो मेरे घर में फिल्म फेस्टिवल चलता है और मैं दूसरे फेस्टिवल के लिए आया हूँ, और इससे जाहिर होता है कि मैं कितना स्ट्रांगली फील करता हूँ अबाउट ए फिल्म फेस्टिवल, कि मैं एक सो कॉल्ड राइवल फेस्टिवल के लिए आ रहा हूँ, क्योंकि मैं समझता हूँ कि फेस्टिवल एक नहीं अनेक होने चाहिए, हर जगह फिल्म फेस्टिवल हो, ताकि लोगों को सिनेमा के बारे में पता तो चले कि सिनेमा है क्या। हमारी बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हम सिनेमा क्या है वो भूल गए हैं। हम सब सिर्फ देखते हैं 100 करोड़ हो गया, 200 करोड़ हो गया, बस ये तो ग्रेट सिनेमा है। लेकिन ग्रेट सिनेमा और 100 करोड़ और 200 करोड़ का कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है, ये सिर्फ फिल्म फेस्टिवल्स में लोग फिल्में देख के समझ सकते हैं, तो इसके लिए आई टोटली सपोर्ट।
सर, एक वक्त था जब फिल्म फेस्टिवल्स में फिल्म आती थी तो कमर्शियल हिट नहीं होती थी, बिकॉज लोगों को लगता था कि बहुत इंटेलेक्चुअल फिल्म है, लेकिन आज उल्टा होता है। डू यू थिंक ये कंटेंट जो चेंज हो रहा है हमारी फिल्म्स का, उसकी वजह से अब ये माइंडसेट चेंज हो रहा है? देखिए, अभी क्या है कि सिनेमाज बेटर हो रहे हैं, सिनेमा हॉल्स बेटर हैं, सिनेमा ऑडियंस बेटर है, और अच्छी सिनेमा तब भी चलती थी और अब भी चलता है। तो प्राइमरीली अगर अच्छा सिनेमा हो, चाहे वो फेस्टिवल सर्किट से आए, नॉन फेस्टिवल सर्किट से आए, उसका चलना जो है वो बड़ा स्वाभाविक है और चलेगा ही। अभी ये अमिताभ की फिल्म चल रही है पिंक, अच्छी फिल्म है और लोग धड़ाधड़ देख रहे हैं, तो अच्छा फिल्म जब भी आएगा वो ज़रूर चलेगा। मुन्ना भाई MBBS जब हमने रिलीज़ की थी, आज बात हो रही थी मुन्ना भाई की, तो पहले शो में कोई था ही नहीं, तीसरे शो तक आधा हॉल फुल था, दूसरे दिन से फिर लगे कितने हफ्तों तक हाउसफुल रहा। तो अच्छा सिनेमा हमेशा चलता है, ऐसा मेरा विचार है। सर, अभी आपका सेशन कैसा रहा और अपनी फिल्म एनकाउंटर फेसेस के बारे में थोड़ा सा बताइए।
मैं जिस सेशन के लिए आया, ये फिल्म ऑस्कर के लिए नॉमिनेट हुई थी कई साल पहले, और मैंने खुद 20-25 साल के बाद ये फिल्म बड़े पर्दे पे देखी है, तो मैं ये देख के खुश हुआ कि इतने साल के बाद भी almost 30 years later the film still holds. So that was a very moving experience for me. Frankly, it was a great journey going back to that time and seeing the film. Thank you very much, everybody.
सर, एक सवाल और पूछना चाह रही थी मैं। Apart from this film festival, सर, एक सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक हुई है जो इंडियन आर्मी ने कर किया। How happy आप सोल्जर्स के लिए आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
Let's talk about the festival. Thank you.